Are you looking for a way to burn a lot of fat, a lot of calories in a really short amount of time? Today's video is probably for you. We're going to talk about high intensity interval training, or HIIT. Let's get started. First, what is HIIT, or high intensity interval training? It is exercising as hard and as fast as you can. So you're winded, you're not capable of holding a conversation, it is intense, and very labored breathing. Then following that, there is an active recovery period before your next high intensity round. So you're not sitting down in this recovery period. It's just a slower version of the exercise that you're doing. Why do you want to do HIIT? Well, it's going to burn more calories or fat in less time than steady state cardio. You know, if you're just walking on a treadmill or jogging or things like that, high intensity interval training is going to burn more calories in the form of fat in less time. So if you're looking for a lean body and a healthy heart, high intensity interval training is more than likely for you. Don't just take my word for it though. There are plenty of studies out there. I've linked a couple of them in the text of this post, so go ahead and check those out. So yeah, don't just take my word for it. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then video is probably in the millions. So let's talk about how to do HIIT, or watch a few examples of me doing HIIT workouts. You can use machines to do high intensity interval training, such as I'm doing here on an AirBike. Again, you just want to go as fast as you can. Don't set the resistance too high, just set it so that you're not pedaling out of control, but pedal as fast as you can on this AirBike. This is a good example also where you're getting your arms involved. You can also use a recumbent bike. This particular one doesn't have any arm movement going on, but again, don't set the resistance too difficult. Just make it hard enough so that you're pedaling against some resistance, but not so that you're pushing, that it requires a ton of effort to push. You could also add like maybe some dumbbell work in here, some lightweight dumbbells if you do want to get your arms involved. Here I'm using a rowing machine. Again, you don't need a whole lot of resistance. This is it's similar to an AirBike rowing machine, so that the harder you pull, the more resistance there is. But again, the key here is just going as fast as you can. And lastly on this one, I'm doing an elliptical stepper. Again, you don't need a whole lot of resistance, but just go as fast as you can on the stepper. One of my favorites is a treadmill sprint, where you're running as fast as you can on a treadmill and then you're recovering by walking on a treadmill. I use 2 treadmills for this. If you only have one, access to one, or you're using a gym where they're going to frown on that. I mean, I'm doing this at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm the only one here, so nobody's really going to complain. But I have one set at about 3.5 miles an hour. That's my walking pace, and the other one I have set up on 10 miles an hour. That's my running pace. So I will do 30 seconds of recovery, or 30 seconds of walking, and then 30 seconds of sprinting. Just be very careful if you're using 2. Be very careful of how you transfer, and watch your feet when you go in from one to the other. Pay attention to what you're doing. Look down. Don't assume that you know which one's going fast and which one's going slow, as you will end up like a bowling ball shooting across the gym floor. You don't have to use super expensive equipment. In a couple of examples you'll see here, I'm using battle ropes. Battle ropes are a great way when you anchor one end down. It's just a big heavy rope, like dock line, like you're going to tie up a boat, and you just go at it. There's a number of different ways. I mean, here there's this is one example of how to use those, but there's a number of ways that you can also use battle ropes. Box jumps. Be careful doing box jumps. I have seen people that have missed the box and basically took all the skin off their shins on the way down. So if they have exercise mats in your gym, or if you're doing this at home, you consider putting an exercise mat on there, just a little bit of foam cushion, so you don't, if you do miss the box, you're not going to lose all the skin off the front of your shins. Here I'm using a weighted sled. It's not super heavy weighted. I think I only have about, I think it's 2 45-pound plates on there, so it's only about 90 pounds. But again, I'm just pushing it as fast as I can from one end of the gym to the other. In this gym, they have, it's artificial turf that I'm pushing it on, but yeah, you can do these outside. You've probably seen guys doing football practice, something similar like this. But again, it's a full body thing. You're getting your upper push going as well as your legs. And when you spin around and come back the other way, you're in a lower position, so that you're getting different muscles used when you're pushing down low. And lastly here, I'm using a medicine ball. It's a 10-pound medicine ball that I'm doing wall balls with. And basically you just squat down and you push up with your legs, and then you push the ball up or throw the ball up in the air as high as you can. I mean, depending on the height of the ceiling, obviously you're going to want to be careful and not have it banging into the ceiling above you. Here I'm doing burpees, and basically you're just jumping into a horizontal position, like a push-up position, doing a push-up, and then jumping back up and reaching up in the air as high as you can. Squat jumps, pretty much just what it sounds like. You're squatting down and jumping up as high as you can. So those are two things that you can do high intensity wise that require no equipment whatever. If you're going to combine some together, this is what I do for my high intensity workout. I will combine multiple exercises together. In this case, I am combining sled pushes, battle ropes, and wall ball tosses, so that I cycle back and forth between those three with moderate or a minimal rest in between. So you go all out with the sled push, you go all out with the battle ropes, you go all out with the wall ball, and your rest is just basically the transition from one exercise to another. So you can loop through, as many times as you want until you're completely exhausted. I go for roughly between 30 and 40 minutes on most of my HIIT things. So as far as our pump philosophy, the power to produce or create, you're accomplishing a whole lot more in a whole lot less time by pushing yourself like that. Like I just mentioned, my HIIT workouts are between 30 and 40 minutes. And I do one or two, normally a Saturday and a Sunday are my high intensity workout days. So I accomplish a whole lot more than in those 2 days, and those either 60 or 80 minutes than I would if I spent an hour walking on a treadmill. Combining all parts into one, this is a true full body workout. If you're doing HIIT correctly and using as much of your body as possible, you're using every muscle that you have in there. And it's a very, very efficient workout then. Unified, with Unified, we're not using any heavy weights. It's just an all-out speed effort during the intensity portion of the workout. As far as mental, studies and personal stories confirm that this works. It works for me. It's worked for hundreds of thousands of other people. I highly recommend HIIT training. It's very good for balance and other things, in addition to fat loss and burning calories. So for procedures, you really don't need any special equipment for this. The couple that I showed you with burpees and different, even if you have a jump rope or anything like that in your house, there's really no reason. Boxers jump rope all the time, and they're anything but obese. So yeah, you really don't need any special equipment. Even if you have stairs, you can run up and down stairs. When I used to travel a lot, hotel stairs, you can run hotel stairs. And there's many things that you can do that would qualify as a HIIT workout, as long as you're going an all-out effort and pushing yourself as hard as you can, and then taking a brief rest break, basically just to recover and catch your breath a little bit. But you should, like I said earlier, you should not be able to carry on a conversation. You should not be able to text on your phone or anything like that. It's an all-out effort in the high intensity portion. And then the recovery is basically just long enough for you to catch your breath and not be completely winded. So in conclusion, just give HIIT a try. As with any exercise program, check with your doctor first before you go doing this. If you've got heart conditions or things like that, please make sure that you check with your doctors and your healthcare providers before you do this. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments or send me a private message.